All right, so quick crash course on Canvas. I'm going to kind of go through the process I would go through with a brand new course. Okay, so first thing I need to make sure that I go to the right place. So JSD Instructure, what you can type in and it'll take you to the jordandistrict.org/resources/Canvas. Okay, and then you'll see this button over here, Canvas Teacher Login. Click on that and that will take you to the correct Canvas. You'll have to log in with your info. Okay, and then you should see, well, depending on how many classes you're teaching and whatnot, you'll see things pop up on the right. I went ahead and had a sandbox created for everyone, so you should be able to find one that just says sandbox. Okay, so find one that says sandbox. For me, I'm going to click on this one. Okay, so first thing, this modules page is, think of it like a map. Okay, so the actual cities or destinations are created on the back end in Canvas. Okay, you can still create them on modules, but it's a little bit more complicated. But like the modules page is just the map that takes students to the different locations that you've created on the back end, if that makes sense. So just because it's not on the map doesn't mean it doesn't exist, and just because it's an actual location you created doesn't mean the students can see it on the map, if that makes sense. Okay, so first thing I would do is I would go through and create modules for each week. Again, it depends on how organized you are and if you've taught your class before or whatnot, but it is better to have it week by week, right? So I'd maybe say week 1, whatever the date is, 8/17 to 8/23 or whatever. I know that's not right, but you'd create that, right? And maybe even have the unit name, so like introduction or whatever. Okay, so then it's going to create a folder or like a destination that students can kind of see, right? Like a category. And again, you can go through and create all these different ones, right? So week 2, whatever that looks like. So maybe that's 8/25 to 8/31. Is that anyway, you get what I'm saying, right? So you create these different folders. Okay, the next thing is you need actual content in there, right? So I like to start out each week with what's called a page, right? So there's multiple ways I can create the pages. I can just go 2 pages on the left hand side, or I can just hit this little plus button and it will automatically add it to this specific area, right? So I can add assignments, quizzes, pages, whatever. If I've created those assignments or quizzes or anything on the back end, right, then when I click on the category, you should see it. Okay, but for instance, I would go and I'd create a page for each of these and be like, instructions for week 1, right, or whatever that looks like. So it automatically creates it for me and puts it so the students can see it if it's published. Okay, so the other thing is you need to make sure it's published. Students won't be able to see it unless it's published. Okay, so if I have all these different assignments and pages published, but then the actual module is not published, students won't be able to see it. So that's an easy way to set it up where students aren't seeing everything, is I can have everything ready to go except for the actual module, and then when I'm ready, I click publish. Once that's a green checkbox, you're good to go. Okay, remember you've created that page. When you do it on modules, it just creates like the template or the block of it. You'd actually need to click into the assignment or page or whatever you've created and edit that. Okay, so this is where I can put in YouTube videos, I can put in links, I can put in instructions, I can put in images, okay, all that on the pages. Okay, but it's not gonna have any like assignment features. Okay, if I were to create an assignment, create assignment, we'll say bell ringer, right, or whatever that looks like. Add item. Okay, so again, I just created like a template or like a block, but it hasn't actually been created, right? So it's there, but it doesn't have any instructions. So I click in on that, and then I can hit edit, and then this is where I can still do instructions and videos if I want. Okay, maybe for that specific assignment, I can put the amount of points it's worth. Assignment group, I'll talk to you about in a second, but that's how you're able to create different like categories that are percentages of their grade. Okay, no submission means that it's going to be just something that I put the grade in for that students can't submit. Online means that they'll actually be doing it on the Canvas, right, on paper. That one's kind of weird, but you know, if you want to, mess around with that. And then there's different types of tools. I wouldn't get too into the weeds on that, especially if you're new to Canvas. Okay, I can create group assignments, okay, which means like people get a grade based on their group. I can do peer reviews. Okay, I always want this checked, especially if you're syncing to Canvas so that the grades automatically go over. Okay, and then you always need to have a due date on there if you want it to actually sync to Canvas. It won't sync until you have a due date on there. Okay, but after I've created all those things, I can hit save and publish or just save. Okay, and then what I was going to show you, so when I hit add, now because I've already created that assignment, I could add that to wherever I wanted. Okay, I also wanted to cover how to create your different assignment groups. Okay, so you click on assignments. Okay, this is how you actually create it so that you can sync to Canvas or to Skyward. Okay, so I would need to create another group. Okay, so maybe my other group is called assessment and it's maybe 80% of the grade. I'm gonna hit save, automatically creates this group. Okay, and then so when I'm creating assignments, I could create it in here, or if I created it in a module, then I'd be able to choose under assignment group, I'd be able to choose the one that I just created. Okay, so I need to make sure that adds up to 100%. So right now it doesn't, right? So I'm gonna edit, and then I'm gonna change that to 20%. Okay, so I can have multiple different categories. Don't get too complicated. It needs to match the way it is labeled in your Skyward. So I already have my Skyward pulled up. Okay, I made it to the bottom so I didn't have to block out names. Okay, but when you go into your actual class, you should see something like this. Okay, I guess I should show you. Okay, so you click on Teacher Access, My Gradebook, and then you can click on your actual class. Okay, and then you click on Categories. Okay, and then this is what you'll see. It needs to match up exactly as you have it in Skyward or in Canvas. So right now this says assignment 20%. Mine says assignments with an S 20%. So that wouldn't work, right? So now I would need to go and change the name in Canvas to assignment, plural. Okay, and then make sure the percentage matches up and I hit save. Okay, so as long as these match up, then you'll be fine, right? So assessment at 80%, assignment 20%, both those match up, perfect. Okay, I can add or edit categories on Skyward. Okay, so you can mess with that, but again, it just has to match up 100% and then you'll be fine. Okay, and then other thing you'll need to take care of, you can see all these different tabs on the left-hand side. So if I click on student view up here, it'll show me what it looks like for a student. Okay, so this is just overwhelming, right? There's just so many options. Okay, so I recommend limiting it to like 3 or 4 options. Okay, so in order to do that, on the bottom left-hand side, we scroll down to settings, click on settings, and then I can like choose an image or whatever, but navigation. Okay, the navigation page is where you're able to remove the different things you don't want. Okay, so like me personally, I keep home, announcements, modules, and grades. Those are the 4 I normally keep. Okay, so I'm gonna do that real quick. Oh, I guess I should show you how to do that. You click the 3 dots, okay? So if I don't want them being able to see something, 3 dots disable, or I can manually move them down or move the order that they're in. So again, I'm gonna do that real quick while you guys just sit there. Okay, so I went through and I removed all the ones I didn't want. If I scroll down, I gotta make sure I hit save. Okay, so now on the left-hand side, you can see all these different eyes with the slash through it. And then again, if I click on student view, maybe, there we go. Then you can see a lot less options on the left-hand side, right? So students aren't overwhelmed. All right, so as far as getting fancy, right, if you want a home page, okay, I've got to click on pages. I've got to create the page that I want, so maybe I would title it home page. Okay, I'm not gonna, you should really keep the Canvas page as simple as you can. Don't get too complicated until you figure out what you're doing, right? It's better to have a solid modules page than it is to have a solid home page and then a crappy modules page. Okay, so you wanna make sure you have that all set up before you start doing some fancy things with the homepage. Okay, I'm not gonna get into all the different design things. There's tons of YouTube videos that you can get into on how to design cool home pages. Okay, but I'll teach you how to make it as your front page. Okay, so let's say this is our awesome class. Yada, 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 right? You insert an image. Do I have any cool images saved? I think I have a Lord of the Rings one. Yeah, perfect. Lord of the Rings. Love it, right? You can do alt text, embed the image, you know, all the fun things. Again, I'm not going to get too crazy with all the different things I can do. Okay, so let's say I created my buttons, all that. Okay, I'm going to save and publish. Okay, so then now I need to go back to pages. Okay, so I can click on the left-hand side. Okay, and then I need to click the 3 dots and use as front page. Wait, that didn't work. Hold on. Pages. That should work. Give me a sec. I'll figure it out. All right, I figured it out. So just on home, you're gonna click choose home page. Okay, and then I would do pages front page. Okay, so now when they click on home, it'll go right to the page that I selected as the home page. Okay, let's see if there's anything else we need to cover real quick. All right, that is mostly everything that you need to do. You're supposed to also add, there's some, I'll pull up the page where you guys see what you're supposed to go through on your Canvas. Okay, making sure that your assignments have clear expectations. Okay, so there's actually a way to add rubrics, right? So like on my Bellringer assignment, if I click edit, oh wait, it's actually right back there. I know what I'm doing, I promise. Okay, so when you click on the assignment, that's where you see the rubric page. If you click add rubric, okay, you can create a rubric right there. I would always recommend going to the rubric section. So you'd click find rubric, manage rubrics. Okay, and this is where you can create like a general rubric or one specifically, but it also makes grading super easy. Okay, so for instance, so if it was 4 points, right, and I'd say full marks, rating description, student exceeded expectations. Okay, and then like if it didn't, this sucks. Obviously you wouldn't do that. Okay, create rubric. Okay, so now when I'm grading, I literally, for each assignment that I'm grading, I can click on the different rubrics points and I can have like different criteria and it gives them the score, but it shows immediately, it shows a student why they got the points, and then you don't even have to do any math, it just automatically puts it all in. And that's super fun. So make sure all your assignments have clear expectations on what you expect from the students. You can even put examples in or whatever. Okay. Okay, and then you're supposed to also add a calendar to your homepage, kind of like showing what students if they miss something or whatever. Okay, so the easiest thing I like to do is just embed my calendar. So I have a separate video for that. That's a little advanced, so I'll send something out in the future in the next couple days or so. I have a YouTube page also that I'll show you guys or send out so that you guys can kind of see different technology resources. The last thing I wanted to cover is how you can take, not reinvent the wheel. If you haven't taught a class before, sometimes it's overwhelming. Okay, so there's a really cool feature where, it's called the Commons. Okay, but if you click on settings, you can import course content. And then I can copy a Canvas course. Okay, so that's how you like copy your content over, like once you have your sandbox courses and whatnot. Okay, but yeah, what you'll want to do, you'll actually click on Commons on the left-hand side. And then you can search by the name of the class you're teaching. So like if you're teaching auto, right, you can see all the different ones. You can see how many times it's been downloaded and favorited. right? I teach financial literacy, so I can type that in. I can go find something. I can click on it. Okay, it'll show me different details. It'll give me a preview of the class. Okay, and then I can actually just import it into my class. Okay, so don't reinvent the wheel. If it's on the Commons area, that means a teacher was okay putting it on there for anyone to use. Okay, you can also, when you're searching, you can actually filter. Okay, so if you only want to see like certain grades, if you only want to see Jordan School District versus like UEN, right? There's all these different options. Okay, so yeah, don't be afraid to do that to get started. Okay, I'm going to be going around answering questions and helping you guys get started on your Canvas courses. So yeah, good luck.